Good afternoon and welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm Anton and I'm bringing you some breaking news. Yes, you have heard me correct. Some breaking news, some positive news coming out of West Ham, and that is the fact that West Ham have announced the signing and the appointment of Tim Steidten as the club's technical director. He is in the door. The technical director will be responsible for the club's overarching player recruitment strategy and scouting department, working extremely close with David Moyes and, of course, Mark Noble. So this is a fantastic move by West Ham. Now, he has oversaw some of fantastic players all around the world, but it's a great deal for West Ham. Now, the technical director role has been implemented as part of the club's growth strategy, and it comes at a very, very key moment for West Ham and in our history. Obviously, coming off the back of the Conference League win in Europe earlier this month as well. And we have, of course, secured our third season in a row of European football. Now, he is up there, absolutely up there, and admired by a lot of people in the football game. He's 44 years old and he brings his own experience of European football to London. He fulfilled a similar role with Bayer Leverkusen in his native Germany at a time when West Ham are and have been enjoying a period of success, both in our first team, in our academy, at all different levels at West Ham. But this also potentially means that West Ham could be looking at being a little bit more dynamic in our approach to bringing players in. Now, he arrived at Leverkusen from Werder Bremen back in 2019, and he was responsible for a really big pivotal period in the club's history. He's got a big data-led approach as well, so he uses the numbers, the stats, the information, and he seems to get really good results from that, and he has unearthed some very decent gems over his time as well. Now, David Moyes has spoken about the appointment and he said, on behalf of everyone at the club, I'd like to welcome Tim to West Ham and his family. He's got a strong track record at elite level of football, and we're really looking forward to working with him. David Sullivan said, our goal when we became custodians of West Ham and moved to London Stadium was to bring silverware in to this incredible club and to regularly compete at the European football. We've enjoyed some fantastic times in recent seasons, and we aim to continue to grow and evolve across all areas of the club. Tim's appointment is key to our wider plans to drive our football strategy forward, and we're delighted to welcome such a well-respected name in the game to the club. Steidten himself spoke and said, I'm extremely proud to be joining West Ham at such an exciting time in the club's incredible history. Building on the club's recent European success, there's already a fantastic team in place, but it's also so much ambition from the board, the manager, his staff and the players to continue succeeding, developing and growing. I cannot wait to play a key part in that. Come on, you Irons. Now, fantastic appointment, of course. I'm going to play a little video to you. I'm going to jump into the comments and I'll give you a little bit more of opinion on what I think about the appointment of technical director Tim Steidten. So watch this video and all you need to know about our new technical director. So there you go. There's a little cheeky video about he needs to lose that scarf. Looks like a college professor. Let's see what we can do. Incoming Bundesliga signings. Well, I think there's a couple of players, Jonathan Tah in particular, who he does know at Bayer Leverkusen, who is a centre half, who I really would bring into the club. I'd be really excited about the appointment of this guy and potentially what his pool could definitely be from you, Paul. We may get the real Red Bull model now. You know what? I'm not getting carried away. There is an element of like I'm buzzing about this signing. Of course I am, and I also think that Rome wasn't built in a day. Listen, I don't want to go back on all the stuff that I've ever said as a West Ham fan since this takeover came in place when Golden Sullivan came into their role. And listen, I've been very vocal in the past about my opinion on our owners, and I've not been happy. But I don't want to bring that situation up just now. But what I do want to see is there are some directional decisions that West Ham have been making recently that seem to be going in the right direction. I think having Mark Noble around the club is an absolute no-brainer, and the role that he's in is an absolute no-brainer. He's bridges that gap between corporate ownership, first team, and the academy. And now bringing him in is definitely something that's going to be a future decision by West Ham. And I think we all agree, possibly all agree, that David Moyes maybe has a specific amount of time like at West Ham. But also what I will say to you is I think this is a decision that's made on the basis that we expect West Ham to play differently next season. Now, I'll maybe do a video of this in the future, but I genuinely believe that we will try a new system or play a different way. And that's because we simply will not have Declan Rice in our position. And I'm not saying that he brought West Ham a specific style of play, but it meant that we knew what we were going to line up to always make sure and make fit what Declan Rice's best position would be in the team. And I was just saying there to some family members, it was like a breakup, a really hard breakup. A really, really hard breakup from West Ham for me and Declan Rice situation. But I'm not over it, but I'm ready for Declan Rice to go now. It doesn't fit for him to be at our club anymore. We need this money coming in. And this is a great opportunity now for Tim to get his, hands into the foundations of the club and really progress this club further forward. Now, he is absolutely, and West Ham he's absolutely a data-led technical director. He's got that all involved with the scouting, statistics, and he narrows down to the market. And he tries to see the whole thing. Apparently, when he was at Leverkusen, they even looked at using something called limb tracking technology, which can tell them how often players turn their head to observe what's around them. Now, that's wacky or ingenious, but he's an advocate for using innovative tech and how that can be brought into the modern game. So it's quite interesting. It's quite exciting. It's looking at more than just simply tracking the players' passes or tracking how much space they use on the park. It's literally using every single angle. So a full-blown data-led technical director. And I know, listen, I can see all the comments coming in. Andy Imp is saying data, Moyes ball equals disaster. I really don't think that Moyes has any option really but to try something a little bit different, because if he resorts back to what we know as West Ham and Moyes ball, then that is going to inevitably lead to Moyes going out the door sooner rather than later. But I definitely think this is a good decision by the club, an absolutely great decision by the club, and I think it's a step in the right direction. And now what we need to see is this momentum kicking on our side about bringing players in. Big Sam, I see the comment coming in from GP. Yeah, I think he's a statistician, absolutely, of a manager. He loves his stats, etc. But I think when you've got guys like Tim, Steidten, young, dynamic, new approach coming into the club, you've got Sam Allardyce, probably, the dinosaur of that version, trying to look at it. So an element of excitement, and some of the players, you've just seen some of the players that he's oversaw with the deals as well coming into the clubs that he's worked at. And he's very, very highly thought of in the footballing world. So an exciting move by West Ham. The proof's going to be in the pudding, though. We've made one big decision by bringing him in. The next big decision is get the Declan Rice deal done, make sure we have the finances, and now start bringing in recruits to the club that fit the system. And that is something that it does genuinely excite me. It really, really does. Interestingly, though, we're waiting to hear what happens with Rob Newman. Still nothing on Rob Newman situation, and really kind of no mention even on the West Ham website of what's going to happen with Rob Newman either. I thought there would maybe be a decision made on the situation with regards to him because of the incoming Tim Steidten, but it's a good decision. A lot of people are thinking that this could be, he oversaw Xavi Alonso coming into Leverkusen, and this could be the respect, this could be the one step in the door, one foot in the right direction of bringing someone in new, who's forward thinking, etc. You just never know. I'm maybe reading into it a little bit too much, but it's definitely an exciting appointment. Now, one thing we have to say is Newman did oversee the signings of Paqueta, Gianluca Scamacca. Okay, that's not worked out so well so far. Now you've Gerd as well. So, I wonder if there's a way forward about all of them working together. Who knows? But either way, for me, it's a good decision and something that takes West Ham. It puts, like I said, it puts our foot in the right direction. And you've got to look at clubs like Brighton and Brentford. And we've always spoke about our model not being similar to what they do, what their situation is, who they look at, etc. And I think he probably starts that whole process for us. There's an element of a model that you need to look at young, dynamic, exciting players all over the world, bring them in, and if you sell them on for make big profits and then you make the move to better your club, then so be it. That's exactly what we are probably having to do. But Tim Steidten does come into the club as our new technical director. That's the official announcement from West Ham. Let me jump into the comments and see who's kicking about. Incoming Bundesliga signings. Yep, absolutely. The Doghouse, bringing in young talent to offload at an exceptional price. I don't know about this one, but I got to learn to see. Time will tell. I didn't even see your comment there, and there's nothing wrong with a business model like that, if I'm being brutally honest. And it only is, it works if, let's say, you find 5 or 6 talents and maybe one breaks through and stays broken through. So if you think about the Declan Rice situation, one out of a group of 5 or 6 players that just kept developing. And through time, you start to see other players go. You see Ngakia leave, Dominguez Quina leave, who's just left Watford. And, selling them on for profits, which is something West Ham have not done really well. That's a very good business model, but you're finding those diamonds in the rough. And that's what really he's been brought in to do, on top of obviously find some of the best talent around as well. And obviously he'll know, we've been rumoured to Jonathan Tah for such a long time. And I wonder if this is going to be someone he looks at. And if he doesn't come in, then there's a reason why he's not coming in. He obviously doesn't fancy him as well. Unless he can change the style of play and use the youth, it's pointless. Well, he is a big advocate of the youth players coming in. So it'll be interesting to see, if players are going out our door. I'm looking at our average age of our squad. I'm looking at our squad once Declan Rice goes, and it's not looking that great so far, but we definitely need to bring some recruits in. I agree with you, Andrew, 100%. I can definitely see this happening in the future. Definitely. I can see a change of owners and management within a year, not someone Sully would get. In my opinion, I had a conversation with my dad, and he said to me, "Do you think Sully will actually stay?" And I said, I don't think so, but I just don't know when. People are talking about the Red Bull model, Slush Puppy model, Coca-Cola model. As Rossi B says, Augie Krez Fab, getting new deals means our squad age won't be getting younger anytime soon. Agree. A couple of those players there. I mean, maybe I get the Augie one. Possible. I don't know, really. I think maybe it was a time to cut. But then equally, if you're going to lose your main captain of the club, or someone who's been in and around that captain's position for such a long time, you're going to need some of the old guard there as well. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it's obviously going to be another big change next year. David Moyes takes too long to identify targets. This has been a long time coming, absolutely. Troj, we are better buying cheaper bracket players around 15 million, as we're so hit and miss even with the 50 million ones. Yeah, it's a good point. Very, very good point. I remember when Pellegrini signed for the club, the official statement that came on the West Ham website came from David Sullivan. It was like, well, listen, this is what you fans wanted, so here you go. This is what you get. And you feel like you were just throwing a lot of money at players just for the sake of it without doing the homework. So we'll have to see as well. Rice, if he has respect for the club, he tells everyone he loves, should not kiss that Gunner badge for at least 6 months. The Rice saga goes on, still not signed for Arsenal. No, it hasn't. If the new technical director is after Lingard, then we know he's really in charge. New deals for old players. Even Devonshire might make a comeback. I think this is definitely the step in the right direction for the board. This should really differentiate who makes the decisions now. So you are right. I know Lingard's a bit of a piss take, but you are completely right. Like if you'll start to know who the players that are linked, whether or not that's coming from a certain place, and also back the system that you're backing right now. So back technical director, sports director, and the manager. And if we want a player, go and get them rather than haggling too much and losing out on the player. That's what we need to see, the big changes being made for the club as well. If the technical director, oh, we've said that one, haven't we? Sorry. Even if it's a done deal, why would they announce it before we spend the cash? Well, listen, we're going to have a bit of cash to spend anyway, so it's going to be done. We know Declan Rice is leaving to Arsenal. It's just a case of Arsenal are not going to let this one die. And the funny thing is, I probably think West Ham are more willing to let it die, but it's not going to happen. I don't understand why we didn't get a 1 month bridging loan as well. Get players in first. Michael Blease says the good thing is he may stop other clubs adding 10 to 20 million pounds on a player we target because the clubs know we have cash. Good point. Well, time will tell. Time will tell. I think we've got 6 months under his belt just now to see what happens. So listen, as much as you want that, as much as everyone else, maybe some other people want that, there's just no point probably in talking about it. It's not going to happen until minimum probably December if things are not going to happen. Wouldn't surprise me if Moyes is gone by Christmas and Xabi Alonso is our manager. Looking how poor our recruitment has been over the last few years, this has to be worth a try, but they have to fully commit to it. I think this move alone, I don't think Tim would have came in. I genuinely do not think he would have came in if he didn't think he was going to get a big say in the whole situation, in his actual role. You know, what is the point then in creating? You've got a sporting director, West Ham legend, David Moyes in charge, Rob Newman kicking about there. What changes have been made? I don't think Tim would come, and be as reputable as he is if he was just going to get told what he's going to have to do. Still think to give Moyes another season. He's given us 3 years of European football. An element I agree with to a certain extent, but listen, ticking time bomb in the nicest possible manner. Probably get to Christmas. If things are not working out the doghouse at Christmas time, Moyes is gone. I think we're going to have to see that. I want to take Lingard back from GP. I don't know if you're taking the piss. I wouldn't want Lingard from Troj. Happy Canada Day. Happy Canada Day to you, Scott. And there you go. So Tim Steidten, our new technical director at West Ham. That's the official announcement coming out of West Ham. That's a good starting move, and hopefully we'll see a bit of movement this week coming up as well. Moyes upper limit, mid-table, and win Europa League. Lower limit, relegation. Football is a weird game. No expectation of Moyes this season. It could work in his favour. Yeah, take the pressure off. Absolutely. And yeah, tell you what, if we won the Europa League, holy shit, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Good players don't want to join Moyes football isn't appealing. We definitely need a new manager. English Yardy, Anton, yes, big round of applause for West Ham. I love welcome to the 21st century of football. It's only taken us a long time, but we are hopefully there. Anyway, there's your short, sharp, straight to the point West Ham Daily for you the weekend. Tim Steidten comes in. Happy days. If you're new around here, please hit the old cheeky subscribe button, support the channel, and thank you so much, because guess what we did over the weekend? Actually, yesterday we hit 20k subscribers, and I don't think anyone, and Russ and Holly, could believe it, but we have. So it's an amazing achievement. Thank you very much for the support. Now we're on the road to 30,000 subscribers. You have heard me right. We're going for 30, so help us out for that. Subscribe to the channel as well. Paqueta thing is worrying, but only rumors so far. I think there's an element of, I've done a video on it, so go back and check it out, about the PSG link. But taking away from the PSG link, what is Paqueta's head thinking? We don't know, but it's my kind of opinion on it as well. We had a chance to win Europa League competition. Extremely difficult this year. Can see us going out early. I hope this means he's just going to get sacked as soon as possible. Robert Singleton says, congratulations. Thank you very much. Stay safe, everyone. And of course, come on, you irons.